years ago, an association was founded that would change our cultural landscape forever. At its heart was a simple idea that the parish could be the building block of a national movement. Today, in an era of sprawling suburbs and dormitory towns, the GAA still brings communities together in a way which is unique and unchanging. There are over 2,000 GAA clubs, each with a story to tell. This is a snapshot of the pride of the parish.
This used to be our swimming pool when we were small, the River Shannon. The other end of the footbridge is County Clare, and 2 miles up the road in that direction is County Tipperary. The sandwich in between is our part of County Limerick, an area synonymous with the names of Hickey, Power, probably the most famous of them all, Mackey. This is the home of my club, Ahane.
The 30s and 40s were a glorious era for hurling in Limerick. While the county won 3 All-Irelands, the club of Ahane clocked up 15 county titles in 18 years. It was a past spangled with stars, none of whom shone brighter than Mick Mackey. Today, Ahane celebrates the brothers Ollie and Niall Moran as once it revered Mackey. But the brothers are setting out to unearth more facts and footage about the man who brought fame and glory to their small fold of Limerick land. Ollie begins the quest at the village shop in Castleconnell.
This is the crossroads, and you'll meet all types and all peoples and all classes of people here.
This is like, I suppose, the pre-incarnation of the internet, like, 'cause this is where all the information kind of circulates. This is the hub, I suppose. It's Google Lee they should have called him, because if you want to know anything, it's Google Lee, you go to George Lee.
They want to know about all our county championships and all our great success down here down through the years.
The great Mick Mackey.
That's it. Now
Jackie
you have
Power.
it. Now you have it.
That's it. Paddy Scanlon in
See,
goal.
there you are. What I'm saying is, a man who's the other side of town knows all about us.
Yes, West Limerick.
Wesley, proud of it.
Proud of it.
The Hamas of Limerick hurling.
That's it. That's it.
West Limerick. I was always say it's like a tattoo. When you get a tattoo first, when you get the old hand tattoo on you first, there's no laser going to take it off you.
Okay, for once in your life, lads, let's start realising what that crest is about there. Okay, it's about Ahane. It's not about this current crop, it's about all the teams that have gone down through the years. And you are the guys that are now going out and you represent them. You represent the Mackeys, you represent the Scanlons, the Herberts, all the names that have gone down through Ahane. Now you're 16 years of age, enough of you guys are men at this stage. You're playing a team from Clare that are coming down because they think they're playing against the Mackeys and the Scanlons and the Herberts and all these guys. But you're the guys they're playing, so you represent those guys. Right, hold your shape now, you're being pulled everywhere with the ball.
For Niall, the jersey confers its own responsibility on the generations who inherit the right to wear it.
He's fairly animated there on the sideline, as you can hear. You know, he's delivering a few home truths there. But no, that's Niall's way. You know, he's very intense on and off the field, like, and you know, he likes to give his all. And fellas look up to him here too on the panel.
It has to start coming back now. Do the simple things.
It's everybody's responsibility to bring through a next generation. If we allow the thing to be neglected, then like we're faced now going into intermediate or junior level, and for a club that we think we have here and the club that we know we have, that's never going to be a possibility. We can't allow it to happen. So under 16 level is a critical age here. I suppose the key in any club is taking young fellas from maybe the age of 15 to 18. That's why we're involved in this age group. The key is if we can get them through the next 2 years, we know once you have them at minor level, we're going to have them at senior level.
Please call Trier, Jerry Pickett. Couldn't do a programme in Ahane without talking to this man. He's 85 years of age, and would you believe he's still doing upholstering?
While spending decades covering Limerick furniture, Jerry Pickett has also been covering the walls of his workshop, documenting over 60 years of hurling in Limerick and Ahane. He is the honorary life president of the club. His hero is Mick Mackey.
Genuflect there in front of the king. The greatest man that ever stood in the field.
He's a powerful man. I suppose the men back then they were a lot stronger and more powerful than...
God above in heaven, sure, he met the Tipperary back line there, and they were all 6-footers, and he was only about 5'7" or 8 or 10.
All he was, yeah.
Yeah, and he'd go through them. There's the 1940 All-Ireland team. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 Ahane men.
This is Timmy
Ryan Goodboy. And I took that photograph myself in 45.
45.
Scanlon would poke out the ball, Timmy would double it in the centre field, and to be gone down into the forwards in 2 strokes. Now it has to take about 6, and they tell you hurling is better.
Like even you come into a place like this today, the photos are everywhere. And as I often say, when things are going well or things are going bad, there's always that weight of expectation. Like that, you have to always answer to likes of Jerry there. If you're not winning county finals, the likes of Jerry need to be told why, and they don't take no for an answer.
They want to pull up their socks.
We're doing our best though, Jerry.
Yeah.
We do our best. Unfortunately, Jerry has very high expectations. See, that's the one problem with Jerry remembering all the good days.
Yeah.
The farming's a massive way of life. Farming and hurling, yeah. Like you're there and you're out in the open and you're running after old calves or yearlings after breaking through fences. Kinda just good old preparation for going out to playing a hurling match, you know. It's a lot of work. A lot of guys around here getting out of cows too, and I suppose even in terms of Ahane, it might change the type of player that we're developing, because as we become closer to the city and more urbanised, you're losing the old fellow with a bit of raw, the old rural fellow with a bit of raw strength. And it's good to have a couple of them in any team, like.
Come on, tail. Come on, up again. Come on, tail.
Hey, it's true to say, I suppose when we were young fellas come home from matches, that when we played bad games, we'd be compared to greyhound pups. I.e., if we were pups, we'd be drowned. So I think our biggest critics, thankfully for us, are at home. Would you agree with that?
Well, I always said anyway that you'd always hear my voice with 60,000 people if you were going wrong anyway.
Yeah. You'd always hear it, you mightn't have to listen to it though.
That's right.
You never saw Mackie play, did you?
No, I never seen Mackie play at all, no. I didn't see Mackie. Mackie was, his last game I believe was in 51 or 52 in a club championship down in Brussels, Kane, I think.
There's a clips of Mackie.
Nobody seemed to have, well, a lot of the old boys have seen him play, but I don't think any of the young people in my age group would have seen him play, and know very little about him.
There's no footage whatsoever. At least with Ring, there's footage. So there's nothing, so like we're only working on photos and folklore. Like that's the problem, like if stories die out, that's Mackie dies out. Surely there's more than that.
The club hit barren spells after the Mackie era. In such times, the most attention gets paid to the source, the local primary schools.
Dropping down to local school. Heard there's a big local derby going on today. Two of the local schools, my own school, Lisnagroy, are playing Castleconnell National School, managed by the local shopkeeper. So there's normally skin and hair flying at these games, so hopefully we won't be disappointed at this match anyway. Seems to be a big crowd. I think they're expecting some fireworks now later on.
Come on, Declan, up again, well done.
Paul Kennedy has been here in the school for the last 34, 35 years. For a lot of us, I think he gave us our first hurley, he gave us our first ball. It's been a good 15, 20 years since I've been back here. That was just the jersey I gave the school there a couple of years ago. I was privileged enough to go to Argentina, so on an All-Stars trip. I doubt maybe I would have been lucky enough or fortunate enough to go on trips like that and maybe won All-Stars were it not for the amount of work that Paul had definitely done for me.
I'll say
he's a good goalie, this fella.
Most, if not all of these, will play for the club. Paddy Knock, number 8, Paddy Morrissey.
Jeez, he's a lovely hurler, yeah.
He will play for Limerick someday.
Oh, jeez, he's brilliant.
His father doesn't make him play for Tipperary. That's the only problem.
Polluted, huh?
The schools in the area continue to feed the club of Ahane. For George Lee, Days like this are about harvesting the future.
You can only make a good player a small bit better, but you can bring the weak lad on, and the sky is the limit, like, with him, like, you know, because the weak guy, if he sees himself getting a bit of attention, will soak it all up. To make that player at senior level stay in the club, remember there's lots of other attractions, he has to really enjoy himself at underage. And most of all, when the young lad goes home and he meets Daddy, and Daddy says to him, "Where you playing?" the answer has to be yes. And the onus is on us as coaches is to bring that young lad to the standard where he can compete along with Ali. Hi sir, Esther now. Esther's going to cut it here. Yeah. Esther, will you cut me €2 of corned beef?
Give me £half, Esther.
£half.
The boys are the future. In the present, Ahane have league games to win. Every performance must match the demands of tradition.
The cornerstone of our life for us at home has been hurling with a hand. Everybody likes to know where they've come from and who they are and what they are. I think in order for us to fully appreciate who we are, I just think we need to see something of Mackie. So I'm going to make a stab at trying to find something.
Vera Mulcahy is John Mackey's daughter and Mick Mackey's niece.
Vera, that's some serious photo now. He's the tip boys are obviously throwing an old dart at him, I think, we're up.
Obviously, I'd say a tough Munster Championship match.
That'd be John, obviously, there. You see the fair hair in him, Vera.
Yes, that's my dad. This photograph intrigues me. In all their years playing, of the two of them in a club kit or a county jersey, Mick and John, that's the only copy of a photograph of the two brothers.
John was an absolute fabulous hurler, and I suppose people, like, there's probably people when they see Mackie they think Mick, but John was equally as good by everybody's recollection that you meet even in Ahane.
Well, I rooted out an old videotape that was given to me by an uncle of mine about 10 or 12 years. It's not of Mick playing or John, it's an interview from the 1960s.
Okay.
Never before, and arguably only once since, has there been such a player. Even now, 30 years later, there is magic in the name Mick Mackey.
All our team were in their own positions. Like, they were all as good as anyone. Better than any of them, actually. In their day.
He's confident devil.
Yeah, now.
It was harder in our time anyhow. It was more shoulder-to-shoulder business. And the tackling, I'd say, was closer and possibly hard.
He was a tough boy.
Would you agree in your time that you charged with the ball, that you took it and charged past, that you went through backs rather than round them?
Well, I wasn't a bit particular anyway.
I like his style there now.
He took no prisoners.
I loved hurling. Of course, it was only natural that my father had been hurling, my grandfather. But I liked hurling, really.